May we all please stand for the pledge. Thank you. Ready? Begin. Thank you very much. We're now on agenda item 3.2, report out of closed session. Ms. Kubret.
This is a report out of closed session for December 19th, 2019. Closed session began at 4:12. The Board of Education took the following action in closed session. 2.1-A-1 in the matter of pending existing litigation, case number PA120422019, on a motion by O'Connor Radcliffe and a second by Couvret. The board voted to approve the final settlement. The vote of the board was as follows: all unanimous ayes, with Patel, O'Connor Radcliffe, Couvret, and Zane voting aye. Beatty was absent. 2.1-A-2 in the matter of pending existing litigation, case number 201-910-1068, on a motion by O'Connor Radcliffe and a second by Zane. The board voted to approve the settlement 4-0. The vote of the board was ayes, Patel, O'Connor Radcliffe, Couvret, and Zane, with Beatty absent. 2.1-A-3 in the matter of pending existing litigation, case number 201-910-1069, on a motion by O'Connor Radcliffe and a second by Patel. The board voted unanimously to approve the final settlement. The vote were ayes, Patel, O'Connor Radcliffe, Couvret, and Zane, with Beatty being absent. 2.1-A-4 in the matter of pending existing litigation, case number 201-910-1071, on a motion by O'Connor Radcliffe and a second by Zane. The board voted to approve the final settlement. All ayes, Patel, O'Connor Radcliffe, Couvret, and Zane, with Beatty absent. 2.1-A-5 in the matter of pending existing litigation, case number 19CV00780-GPCRBB, on a motion by Couvret and a second by Zane. The board voted to approve the settlement. All ayes, Patel, O'Connor Radcliffe, Couvret, and Zane, with Beatty absent. 2.3-A through C. There's no reportable action from closed session. The board will take this action in open session agenda item 8.1. For 2.6-A in the matter of public employee appointment, employment principal of elementary school, on a motion by Zane and a second by O'Connor Radcliffe, the board voted to take action in closed session to appoint Adam Carlin as principal of Turtleback Elementary School. It was 4-0, for Beatty absent. All ayes, with Patel, O'Connor Radcliffe, Couvret, and Zane, with Beatty absent. The other items will be revisited after this session, which the closed session was recessed at 5:58.
Thank you very much, Ms. Couvret. Welcome, Mr. Carlin. And Dr. Phelps, do you want to take it from here?
I'd like to invite Mr. Carlin up to the front. We'd like to welcome Mr. Carlin back and a part of PUSD. He will be the new principal at Turtleback Elementary School. We're excited to have him back into the district. He is a homegrown Poway Unified employee, and he's now back. So I'd like you to welcome to the district. Is there anything you want to say real quickly?
I just want to say thank you. Growing and learning.
Thank you.
We're now at agenda item 3.3, members in attendance. We have all board members in attendance except for board member Kimberly Beatty. Moving on to 3.4, welcome to the public. Ms. Mariana Akins.
Welcome to the monthly meeting of the Board of Education. If you would like to address the board on any agenda item, please complete a speaker slip. All requests to speak must be submitted to the clerk of the board before the agenda item comes up. If you are requesting an agenda item be pulled for public discussion from Section 5.0 Consent Calendar, A speaker slip must be submitted to the clerk now, as approval of the consent calendar is one of the first items up for approval. Item 4.2 is placed on our agenda to enable members of our community to bring items that are not placed anywhere else on the agenda to the board's attention. Speaking time is limited to 3 minutes per speaker with a maximum of 15 minutes per topic unless waived by the board president. There will be a 30-second yellow warning light when time is running out. Speakers may only speak on one topic under item 4.2 and may not defer their speaking time to another individual. If there are concerns regarding specific individuals, it is preferred that the speaker refrain from naming them publicly to respect their privacy. The board will accept and review any written materials that would provide more specific information. The Brown Act does not permit board action or extended discussion of any item not on the agenda, but your concerns will be referred to staff. With that said, welcome and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. We're now on agenda item 3.5. This is an action item, approval of the agenda sequence.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you very much. On a motion by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe, second by Mr. Zane. The preferential vote?
Aye.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. This brings us to agenda item 3.6, which is the organization meeting and election of officers. Dr. Phelps.
Thank you, President Patel. Tonight's an important organizational meeting for our school board, and I wanted to extend my deepest appreciation to all of our trustees for their hard work each and every year and their commitment over this past year. You have brought a level of professionalism and spirit of collaboration to our board meetings that is greatly appreciated by myself and the staff. I want to thank you all for your leadership. And so at this time, I'd like to now present to President Patel this plaque to thank her for her outstanding service as our board president. So, Madam President, it has been a pleasure to work side by side with you, and I want to thank you for your leadership and your service to our students and our schools as our board president over the past year. So now I'd like to turn it back over to President Patel to conduct the remaining of the board business, which will begin with our election of officers.
Thank you, Dr. Phelps. We're going through our annual board organization that is conducted every December, the election of officers and appointing of representatives to our various board committees. So we're going to take time to complete this important work. The first step is electing our officers. A president, vice president, and clerk are to be elected. As the current president, policy requires that I conduct the nomination and election of the officer of president only. Once it has been completed, then the new president will then take nominations to conduct separate elections for the vice president and clerk, as well as the assignment of committees. So with that, are there any nominations for board president?
I'd like to nominate Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe.
Second.
And any other nominations? Do you accept?
I do.
Excellent. So we'll take a vote, preferential vote from Ms. Akins.
Aye.
The rest of the board, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Welcome to a seat you're comfortable in.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to say. No, I'll just sit here for this. Yes. This takes us to election of our vice president. Are there any nominees?
I'd like to nominate Ms. Gouvrette.
Any other nominations?
I'll second that.
Oh, well, all right, fine. Any other nominations? All right, all those in favor. Oh, wait, preferential vote?
Aye.
Everyone else, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, sounds unanimous. Yay.
Thank
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll take some nominations for clerk. I hope there are several.
I'll nominate Mr. Zane.
Does it come with a cool visor or anything? Or no?
No. Speaker slips. You get speaker slips.
But you do have to keep accurate time.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll second that.
All right, thank you. Any other nominations at this time? All right, for preferential vote, Ms. Akins.
Aye.
And everyone else, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that'll do it. At this point then, congratulations, Mr. Zane, you are our new clerk. At this point, we need to make some appointments for our county meetings. Let's just go through them one at a time here. Okay, our first is County Board of Education Representative. I had that position last year. There were no meetings. It was very taxing. Is anyone interested in taking over that slot this year? If a meeting should be called, I'd be happy to go to it again, but if anyone else is interested, I'm happy to give it up as well. Okay, I'm keeping that one. Our California Association of Suburban School District Representatives, we can have 2 to 3. Mr. Zane, Ms. Couvret, last year, and I was an alternate.
Can I take that alternate slot?
If you would like
I
to
would
keep,
actually like to.
you want to keep yours too? Sure, that's fine. Okay, yes, then I will lose the alternate slot and put Ms. Patel, Dr. Patel in there. Our California School Boards Association, I would love to see Dr. Patel continue there.
Please.
Okay, good. Palomar Health was Miss Beatty. Since she's not here, I don't think we can leave her there.
I'd like to go
Okay.
ahead and take that one.
Great, Ms. Couvret. Our City of Poway Subcommittee Liaisons, Ms. Couvret and Mr. Zane. You're interested in staying there? Yeah. Okay, that works. We'll stay the same there. City of San Diego.
If
I'm looking for that on my sheet. Oh, okay, here we go. City of San Diego Subcommittee Liaisons, Mr. Zane and me. They didn't have a meeting this year either for a whole year, so are you interested?
I am interested.
I'm happy to give up my spot to Dr. Patel. Would you like to retain your spot? Sure. Okay. Chamber of Commerce Liaison, Poway Chamber of Commerce Liaison was Ms. Couvret.
That's fine.
You want to retain that? And also the San Diego North Chamber of Commerce Liaison. You had both.
Oh, I'm a member.
You're happy? Okay, she's happy to stay in both. Our Palomar Council PTA Board Representative rotates. We will continue to do that. And the San Diego County Board of Supervisors Representative is currently Mr. Zane. Are you interested in staying there? Anyone else want it? Are we going to steal? Pass? Steal? No? Okay. All right, that does it then. At this point, we'll have a short recess so we can change nameplates and get our stuff and move it. So, recess. Hey, everybody. Name tags are fixed, so we're back. We'll continue with the regular board meeting now. Item 4.1 is our student board representatives. We've got a bunch sitting up here. Let's start with, how about Stone Ranch Elementary? We have Michaela Madsen and Berkeley Wright. Come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mikkel Madsen, and I am here with Berkeley Wright. We are the president and vice president of the Student Council at Stone Ranch Elementary. Thank you for inviting us to share a little about our school tonight.
Our Student Council works to find events to not only help the students of Stone Ranch, but also kids from San Diego and children around the world. Each December, the students of Stone Ranch donate toys for kids at Rady Children's Hospital. Earlier this month, we were able to fill 2 cars full of toys for kids who have to spend their holidays in the hospital.
Last year, our biggest and most successful service event was called Money for Malawi. Through some teachers at our school, we learned about the Matiti Primary School in Malawi, Africa. They were in desperate need of cement floors for their classrooms. Our goal was to raise $800 to cover the cost of the floors, but we crushed that goal and raised over $9,000. Matiti School was able to use the money in many different ways.
We will be helping out Matiti Primary School again during the Great Kindness Challenge next month. We are truly appreciative of the amazing educational opportunities provided at our school and learned about how different it is in Africa. We are currently waiting for a wish list of needs from Matiti School's headmaster. He will let us know what they need the most and how we can best help them improve access to education for their students.
New to our school this year was the addition of our Kindness Crew. This is a club of 4th and 5th grade student volunteers who, along with our counselor, are working to develop activities and awareness to spread kindness across our campus and in our world.
We are proud to represent our fellow Stone Ranch Trailblazers. Thank you for having us here this evening.
Thank you, ladies. Wonderful representatives for Stone Ranch. How about our reps from Sunset Hills Elementary, Devin Martinez and Sloan Plonka? Welcome.
Good evening, President O'Connor Ratcliffe, board members Dr. Phelps, and staff. Hi, I am Devin Martinez, and I am Sunset Hills Student Council President. It is nice to meet you all, and I am thrilled to be here to talk about our terrific school.
Hello, I am Sloan Plonka, and I am Sunset Hills Student Council Vice President, and I am also very happy that I could make it here to represent our school. Our school, Sunset Hills, is located right next to Black Mountain Middle School and Rancho Penasquitos. Our mascot is the Sunny Seagull, and our school motto is to respect yourself, respect others, and respect property.
We have terrific Friday school assemblies every month. We announce upcoming events, give out awards like the Golden Trash Can, the Golden Spatula, the Perfect Attendance Award, and Running Club Awards. We also do songs and chants to support our school spirit and college readiness.
At Sunset Hills, we are a no excuses university. This means we all strive to be prepared for college, but that we also understand the importance of community. We do a lot of community and charity work.
Every year, we help our community by encouraging students to donate to our food drive. For the past 13 years, we have teamed up with Becky Polinsky from Friends and Family Community Connections, which is a local food bank.
We also work with volunteers from the Penasquitos Lutheran Church to box and deliver the food. This year, we hit a new record of 750 pounds of food, which allowed us to help hundreds of needy families.
For the last 4 years, in December at Sunset Hills, our second grade students have run a fundraiser for Camp Kesem, a nationwide organization that supports kids whose parents have cancer. Every year, the camp counselors come to our school and teach us about what they do.
Last year, with a matching donation from Intuit, we were able to send 6 kids to camp for free. This year, we have already raised over $1,500. Some of the money will go to Children of CASA, another No Excuses University charity. They are an orphanage in Mexico that provides education to 25 to 30 children. They also came and spoke at our school.
Last week, our 5th grade students organized a gift snack bag fundraiser for the families at the Ronald McDonald House. We packaged and delivered holiday bags with inspirational notes for the families. Students from Mount Carmel High School also came down to help.
We also participate in well-known charities like Adopt a Family and Pasta for Pennies. In the last 16 years, we have donated almost $60,000 to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
One of the most exciting additions to our school this year is our new light bulb lab. This lab is a great makerspace to work on creative projects using engineering and design. In the light bulb lab, we work in groups or work solo on robotic challenges and building projects. The Mount Carmel High School Catalyst Club also comes down to our school twice a month to do science and activities in the light bulb lab.
Then there's the innovation space in the library. This is where we solve real-world problems around our school or community, enter in competitive challenges, and do research and design thinking. We also use the computer lab for coding, designing circuit boards, and educational websites.
The best part about our school is that everyone works together, from the principal to the teachers to the parents, students, counselors, administrators, aides, and custodians.
We are like a big family here at Sunset Hills, and we want to thank the school board and Superintendent Phelps for inviting us to share a little about our amazing school with you today. We would like to end this report with our school chant.
Sunset Hills is the place to go. Setting goals is how we grow. Responsible is what we'll be. Fair, caring, and trustworthy. Respectful citizens of Sunset Hills. Seagulls! Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm a Siegel alum myself. I don't think we had a chant that cool when I was there, though. How about our Mount Carmel High School representative, Sage Branch? Show us what the high school students can do. Come on, you got a chant for us? Sing the fight song.
So
something.
I don't have a chant. Good evening, Poway Unified Board, Dr. Phelps, and cabinet members. My name is Lauren Anderson, and I'm the senior class president at Mount Carmel. I am filling in for Sage Brandt tonight because she was actually pulled up to varsity soccer this week, so go her. But on another note, I am very pleased to inform you of all the amazing things going on at Mount Carmel. Tomorrow we are having our annual winter assembly, and so band, choir, and drama will all come together to give a special holiday performance. Band and choir will sing and perform a compilation of holiday songs, and drama will conduct their live storytelling that always leaves us jolly. Last Saturday, we held Senior Sundial in the theater. It was an event that debuted the most outstanding seniors. From a singing bee to a live reading of The Hungry Caterpillar, our seniors really showcased all the amazing and talented Sundials that have grown at MC. John Romero took home the crown after singing Adios Amor with a fellow contestant and correctly finishing all the lyrics during the singing bee portion of the competition. In late October, we held our annual food drive that was conducted until mid-December, and we are proud to say that it was our most successful food drive in Mount Carmel history. Also, MC's Got Talent is back. The choir department has started to coordinate our beloved MC's Got Talent. It is an event that will be held in January of 2020 and will highlight the most creative and talented Sundials on campus. We started ticket sales this week for our winter informal dance coming up on Saturday, January 25th. The dance will be a blacklight dance where we will play air hockey, serve root beer floats, and watch Wreck-It Ralph. On another note, we would like to congratulate the boys water polo team for placing second in the CAF state tournament this year. Additionally, our winter sports teams are doing very well this season. Girls varsity soccer has had a very good results and hasn't lost yet in regulation play. Girls basketball is currently tearing it up on the court with a record of 5-2. We are getting ready for our winter pep rally and have hosted performance and MC auditions this week. The event will take place on the first day back from winter break, and overall it is a bustling time of year at Mount Carmel, and I'm grateful that I got to fill you in on all things. Thank you for listening, and always remember, it's great to be a Sun Devil.
Thank you very much. And from Abraxas High School, Luis Arellano. Welcome.
Hello, and thank you for allowing me to present to the board. My name is Luis Arellano. We have two programs at Abraxas High School, the Diploma Program and the Transition Program. I'm a student in the Transition Program. The Transition Program is for young adults, 18 to 22, who learn important life skills at Abraxas and in the community. Among the skills, students work on are job readiness skills. The students in the program work at volunteer and paid sites. I volunteer at RB Swim Tennis. Work on the transition library is continuing and students have already started checking out books. The coffee cart business is open. We make and serve coffee, tea, and hot chocolate to teachers and staff at Abraxas. The Leadership Club held its second blood drive and already reached half of the yearly goal for blood donations. The students continue to volunteer with the seniors at Brookview Senior Center. In late October, students from both programs carved 80 pumpkins and displayed them in the Garden of Pomerado Road for Halloween. The Abraxas Garden continues to donate most of the produce to the needy families in our community and has donated over 7,000 pounds of produce to the needy. The second annual College and Career Fair was a success. Students from both programs explored career options from automotive to fashion design and law enforcement. Students were also able to explore options in all the military branches along with a wide range of college options. Today, both programs hosted their December graduations. 3 students graduated from the Transition Program and 39 students graduated from the Diploma Program, which is the highest December total in over 3 years. Thank you for your time.
Thank you all very much, and I know some of you have, there can't be homework right before the last day before break, but just in case, you're welcome to leave or hang around and see what else we're going to do tonight. At this point, agenda item 4.2 is public comment. I look to our new clerk, Zane. Are there any speakers?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, first speaker is Madeline Nguyen.
Good evening, Dr. Phelps and board members.
Good evening, my name is Rosa Maria, and I'm a new student for Team Spider.
My name is Madeline Nguyen, and I'm a sophomore at Poway High School. I'm here representing the Poway High School's Society of Women Engineers as the president and founder of the club, as well as Poway High School's Robotics Team Spider as the vice president of public relations. I am also the CAD, or the computer-aided design lead, of the Community First Tech Challenge Team Mechanical Advantage. One of our goals this year was to advance women in engineering. Our greatest accomplishment this year was hosting the Girls in STEM Inspiration Day on May 18th, where over 100 3rd through 8th graders, girls, came with their parents from all over the county to attend. The day included complimentary hands-on engineering workshops to promote, inspire, and empower girls to embrace science, technology, engineering, and math. In February of last year, I invited 5 of my fellow Poway High School Swede Nexters to join my team to compete in the Society of Women Engineers sponsored competition called the Design Lab Community Engagement Challenge. The challenge asked teams of high school students to develop a hands-on engineering activity for local elementary and middle school students that addressed a specific community need. Representing my team as captain, we created a PowerPoint and traveled to St. Louis to present the project proposal on stage to Society of Women Engineers judges. I was very proud to procure the $1,000 grant, which allowed our team to host the Girls in STEM Inspiration Day in May. For the second round of competition, we created a video describing our event to share with the SWE judges. We were honored to be the recipient of the People's Choice Award for the online voting, where we donated our winning of an Amazon gift card to buy an after-school STEAM kit for the Monarch School for Homeless Youth. In addition, we also won the Design Lab Grand Challenge, which was an all-expense-paid trip to Anaheim for the annual SWE conference to accept the award with a behind-the-scenes tour of Disneyland. So last month, Team Spider, along with Mechanical Advantage, traveled to Paraguay to advance STEM education and the FIRST Robotics program by hosting the first ever First Tech Challenge scrimmage in South America. We met with the Chancellor and Dean of the Engineering from Paraguay's National University. We were very excited that we were meeting our vision and mission of advancing STEM education locally and globally. Team Spider is excited to share that we have a sister First Tech Challenge team, Mechanical Advantage. They are here today. That consists of students from Poway High School, Westview High School, Black Mountain Middle School, and Oak Valley Middle School. We're proud to share that we were the winning alliance at the Tucson qualifier, as well as our very first league meet, which was in Rancho Santa Fe, and we will be competing in the Arizona Championship in February for a chance to advance to the first World Championship in Houston. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you. Next speaker is Emma Litoff.
Hi, my name is Emma Litoff, and I go to school at Design 39 campus, and I dance at Southern California Ballet. So in the past in the past couple months, I've been raising money for kids who are in poverty in El Cajon to come see the Nutcracker. I started with a lemonade stand at our studio, and raised over $1,700. And at first I was only going to bring one of the fourth grade classes, but I ended up being able to bring the whole fourth grade. The Poway Performing Arts Center is really important to me because I've been dancing there since I was 5, and without the Poway Performing Arts Center, I would not be able to bring those kids, and hopefully I can do it in the future too. A lot of the kids wrote me letters, so one of the letters is, "Dear Emma, thank you so much for raising the money so we could go to the ballet. I really liked the dances in the Nutcracker. I really want to be a dancer for my career. My other favorite part was the part when when the old man got out of his wheelchair and danced with his wife or the old lady. The Nutcracker was awesome. Sincerely, Ben." I was really happy that I was able to inspire a ton of kids who would never, ever, ever be able to go to the ballet ever again, probably, and they had never done it, and I was able to introduce them to it, and they were really interested.
Thank you very much. Next speaker is Janet Latang.
Good evening, Superintendent Kim Phelps, Superintendent's Council, and Trustees. Tonight I would like to summarize some of the fall PUSD VAPA highlights and share with you some reasons to look forward to PUSD's future performances in 2020. This fall, our 5 comprehensive high schools all had successful marching band seasons, and the secondary schools performed over 25 concerts, many this month. Some schools even have concerts this evening. Beyond these school ensemble performances, I really appreciated that many of our PUSD students took a risk to audition for one of the honor ensembles. This very act of preparing and auditioning is a pathway for these students toward college and career readiness, as the honor group audition process is quite similar to college auditions and is a stepping stone toward a professional performance group audition. I would like to celebrate all of our PUSD students who put themselves out there and took that risk to audition for an honor group. In November, PUSD had talented students representing the district at the All Southern Honor Choir Weekend at the University of Redlands. This was a fun and musically challenging weekend with fellow talented vocalists from throughout Southern California. These students also got to have the experience of spending a weekend on a college campus, which was also a good experience for them. In January, the instrumentalists will get their turn with the All Southern Honor Band and Orchestra. Again, participation in an honor group weekend gives our students an amazing opportunity to rehearse under the baton of a nationally known conductor and perform with some of the best musicians in the region. Some of our talented musicians will be representing PUSD at the California All-State Honor Band, Orchestra, and Choir Weekend in Fresno in February. Congratulations to all those students who were and will be selected as some of the best musicians in California. The list of all the PUSD students who were selected for the All-State Choir is listed in Agenda Item 12.2b, Student Recognition. I doubt these musicians or their parents ever imagined when they were in 5th grade that they would someday be selected for one of these honor groups. I would like to recognize the dedication of these musicians, their families for supporting them, and their amazing PUSD teachers who taught them for all these years from elementary through high school. It's exciting to look forward to the many wonderful concerts and musicals coming up for PUSD in the winter and spring of 2020, which brings us to some exciting news that PUSD parent Kate Hirsch and I would like to share. On behalf of our event steering committee, we would like to invite the board and Superintendent and Superintendent's Council to attend our Poway Center for the Performing Arts 30th anniversary celebration to be held on May 18th. We are currently at work setting the program for this event and plan to have current PUSD and PUSD alumni perform during the celebration. We have left you with the save the date cards with this date and time listed and our contact info. We're excited to celebrate the past 30 years of the fine performances at the Poway Center for the Performing Arts and hope to kick off what we hope is the next 30 years of wonderful performances and cultural experiences at the PCPA. We look forward to seeing you at the Poway Center for the Performing Arts on May 18th at 7 o'clock p.m. Happy holidays, and we all have a wonderful new year. Thank you.
Janet's mastered the 3 minutes. She's got it down. The next speaker is Toby Batley.
Good evening. My name is Toby Batley, and I am the Co-Artistic Director of Southern California Ballet. I'm here to give you some information from a community renter's perspective regarding the PCPA and its operations. $270,000 per year of the PCPA's income comes from community renters like us, who have by far the highest cost recovery of any of the user groups, 70% in fact. If you, PUSD, want to be able to count on this number in your bottom line going forwards as owners of the PCPA, the community renters will need certain assurances, and we will need them soon. Decisions need to be made in the next few weeks as to whether our organization moves to Escondido Performing Arts Center. In 2018, our organization alone contributed over $35,000 to the PCPA's income that I just mentioned, and this year we predict that number to have increased to over $40,000. In the next few weeks, we will have to make a final decision on whether to move to Escondido or stay with the PCPA next year. If you intend to keep our business and that of other community groups, the following is essential and must be confirmed in the next month. The stage must continue to be run by professional and trained technical staff. All of our public performances require 5 stage crew, 1 operating the flies, 1 sound engineer, 1 lighting technician, and 2 follow spot operators. This is a minimum and is non-negotiable. The shows cannot exist without that minimum. Our dates must be 100% guaranteed. The current PUSD policy of being able to bump or cancel or move rentals in the event of something more important to PUSD appearing on the calendar doesn't work with our current operational model and needs to be modified. The facility must be kept in good working order. The current technical capabilities of the theatre itself must be upheld in order for our performances to take place. This includes the full lighting rig of over 200 stage lights, ranging in cost from $1,000 to $3,000 each, meaning you will be responsible for the upkeep of lighting rig worth upwards of $500,000. And a fly system with 40 line sets, each costing between $6,000 and $25,000. This means this fly system is worth between $240,000 and $1 million on its own. These are a few of the main examples that I can fit into the time allotted, which is running out, to speak here, of what would be needed to keep the PCPA rentable for most, if not all, of the community groups, and we need confirmation soon. As I said earlier, the uncertainty alone is enough to force us to have to move to Escondido next year. As we have told the City Council, we, the community groups, are here to answer any questions that you, PUSD, may have during your discussions, and as the most economically beneficial group using the PCPA, we encourage you to come to us as a resource for information going forwards. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Ashley E.
Hello, good evening. I'm not going to sit down because I'm only going to be here for a few moments. I'm here to serve a summons and a complaint to Marion Kim Phelps and the Poway Unified School District. Is that something that you're all right with me just coming up and handing directly to you, or would you like me to hand this to someone else? I've got 2 papers.
To Miss Marshall, please.
Wonderful.
That concludes the public comments, Madam President.
That takes us to 5.1, approval of the consent calendar. I'll start down at the end with Ms. Akins. Is there anything you wish to remove from consent calendar?
No.
Dr. Patel?
Nothing to pull.
Nothing to pull.
All right, then is there a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Right, on a motion by Dr. Patel, second by Mr. Zane. Preferential vote to Ms. Akins?
Aye.
And everyone else, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that is unanimous. Ms. Marshall, do you need me to state the vote any differently than that? I'm out of practice. Does that work? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Oh, it said so. Okay. Got it. All right. I misread that. All right. That takes us to 6.1, approval of revisions to Board Policy 4.318, exempt positions salary schedule. Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you, Madam President. This item is proposed revisions regarding the minimum wage increase that we anticipate and approve to occur on January 1, 2020 in the state of California. The exempt positions are listed on this particular item: student lifeguard, tutor, avid, tutor, workability students, and junior helper. Currently, they are being paid at the minimum wage for year 2019 at $12 per hour. The increase will be $1 per hour more, effective January 1, 2020. This item is to increase the minimum wage effective on that date to $13 per hour for these listed positions which are exempt.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez. Are there any questions? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
On a motion by Dr. Patel, second by Ms. Couvret. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that is unanimous. 6.2, approval of new classification budget technician. Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you. The Personnel Commission, along with our District Finance Department, has established a classification titled Budget Technician and approved this recommendation in the job description and salary placement. This position will support the district's budgeting process by verifying budget transaction and performing a variety of other accounting functions for the district. The Finance Department has provided input and has indicated this is an accurate description of the work duties based on our operational need day-to-day that's needed for this department. Once this is approved, the Finance Department will move forward to recruit for this position as quickly as possible so that we're staffed and fully prepared for the upcoming budget preparation cycle. The proposed classification description as well as a revised salary schedule is enclosed for your consideration and approval.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez. Are there any questions? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
And a motion by Mr. Zane, second by Dr. Patel. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously 4-0. Let's keep it rolling, Mr. Jimenez. Item 6.3, compensation on the salary schedule for the Association of Poway School Managers, APSM, commensurate to the Poway Federation of Teachers Bargaining Unit.
Thank you, Madam President. On September 12, 2019, our Board of Education approved a tentative agreement and salary increase between the Poway Federation of Teachers and our district. This increase included a 0.5% retroactive raise to July 1, 2018, an additional 1% ongoing raise to July 1, 2019, and a 1.5% ongoing raise effective January 1, 2020 on all of our teacher salary schedules. It's recommended that all employees within our Association of Poway School Managers to receive the same ongoing salary increases that were approved in September, commensurate to those that were approved for our PFT Federation. The disclosure forms in accordance with our requirements for AB 1200 have been submitted to the County Office of Education, and an approval letter is also enclosed with this item for your consideration.
Thank you. Any questions? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
By Dr. Patel, second by Mr. Zane. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously 4-0. Item 6.4, 2018-2019 Annual Report of the Personnel Commission. This is a presentation. Mr. Jimenez.
Each year, our Personnel Commission provides an annual report based on the activities and recruitments and responsibilities that they conduct each and every year. I'd like to invite our new director of our Personnel Commission, Mr. Jeremy Lachey, who will present some key points in a PowerPoint presentation this evening, and to bring us up to date on the activities of our Personnel Commission staff over the last year. So welcome, Mr. Lachey.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez. Good evening, Governing Board, Dr. Kim Phelps and Ms. Akins and Cabinet. My name is Jeremy Lachey, and I am the Personnel Commission Director as of November 6th, last month. Very excited to be here and happy to present our annual report for the 2018-2019 school year. The purpose of this report is to provide an overview of the work that was completed by the Personnel Commission in the previous school year. I know you've already received the full report in your board packet, so I'll simply highlight some key aspects of my presentation tonight. Let's see if I can do this. Hey, there we go. Listed here are the main responsibilities of the Personnel Commission. Basically, our core mission is to ensure a fair, consistent, and impartial hiring and employment process. And keywords from this list that are integral to our work are open competition, unbiased, impartial, defensible, equitable, and consistent. And we really try to live by those standards as we operate day to day. And I thought as I was making this, I should have put pictures of my kids in there to highlight, make it more exciting to watch. But I did put pictures of our commissioners in there for you. We are extremely grateful to have three outstanding personnel commissioners in Mr. Little, Mr. Sison, and Ms. Wyatt, who dedicate a great deal of their time and energy to govern our work, and we really appreciate their dedication to what we do. And I'm proud of the dedicated team that we have in the commission. They're positive, professional, service-oriented, and they're passionate about the work we do while also maintaining a sense of humor. Great people to work with. These two charts from the report provide some data from work the Commission completed the last year. And in response to the growing needs of our sites and departments, in 2018-2019, the Personnel Commission administered 174 classified recruitments. We hosted 7 hiring fairs for instructional assistants for special education. We recruited at numerous community and college job fairs, and we revised 12 job classifications. In addition, the Personnel Commission has continued to work with administrators and subject matter experts to review and design test components that are true to the duties, knowledge, skills, and abilities necessary for each position. And based on the data from this report, as well as input from our commissioners, district staff, PSEA, as well as even applicants, the Personnel Commission has 4 primary goals for this year. And you can see those listed on the screen. I won't read all those bullets for you. But to achieve these goals, we're increasing the number of hiring fairs that we are hosting here. We're utilizing more tools to communicate our current job openings through colleges, public spaces, online, as well as through school sites. We're working collaboratively with district staff to find ways to be more efficient and shorten the time frame to hire and onboard new employees. And this winter, we will continue the classification review work that was started 2 years ago. So our team is excited to meet these goals and continue to provide high quality service to all of our district schools and departments. And that was it. That was try to be concise for you.
Short and sweet is how we like our presentation.
Is that how you like it? I'm really glad.
Those are the best.
Because that was short and sweet. If you said the opposite, I'd be in trouble.
It's very nice to meet you, Mr. Lachey. Are there any questions for him while he's here? Dr. Patel.
I have a question. I'm looking at your testing system for your personnel commissioner, or for your the staff. So I have a couple questions. I've never taken a test through the Personnel Commission. I haven't been an employee of the district. Could you tell me a little bit about the format for these tests? Are there any practical hands-on parts of the test, or are they all written?
No, depending on the position, many of them are written or on the computer. Some are, depending on the job, might be an Excel test or Microsoft Word or typing up, or if you're a translator, translating a document. However, for positions like transportation or mechanics, we actually do have some hands-on tests that we ask them to complete. I observed one last week. They're identifying parts of the engine for a bus and seeing, if they're aware of those. Our maintenance and operations custodians might do something that involves cleaning or repairing, something that would tie into their work. So we try to work with the administrators to come up with tests that we believe will highlight people who are qualified for these positions to meet minimum qualifications. We know there's a training that needs to take place and a learning curve, but we want to make sure we are hiring quality people that are prepared to enter into these jobs. So it could be a mix.
And what is the weighting? Is that taken into consideration if it's a more of a task-oriented position versus a desk job?
I'm sorry.
Is that weighted differently? Is it like a 50-50? Like, what is the amount of value placed on the practical versus
it would
the
vary based on the position. If it's an office assistant position, we might put more weight on certain tasks that are completed regarding, if they're doing work with Excel quite a bit, we want to make sure that they have skills in that area. So we have analysts in our department. That's their job, is to really look at those tests and then work with the administrators of those departments to make sure those tests are matching. So there is a weight for the exams, then the hands-on portion if it's there. And then also candidates would go through what we call a QA, a qualifying interview, where it's a screening interview basically with people that are familiar with the work to make sure that if we send candidates to a final interview, we're sending the best that we feel we found in our pool of applicants.
And I have one more question. Is that okay? So my last question is, I have heard anecdotally as a board member when I go to visit various school sites that sometimes there seems to be a long delay between when tests are given and when positions are hired and filled for ESS in particular, and that tends to be a challenge for some of our students or people who are looking for just other minimum wage jobs. Is there a way to audit that program or programs like that so that we can improve the efficiency there? Because for minimum wage jobs, people are going to go wherever they get their job first. And we might be losing very highly qualified or capable candidates within our community.
Yeah, personally, when I got this position, my daughter was very excited because she was an 18-year-old that went through that process and ended up getting a job somewhere else, because by the time she got called for an opportunity, she couldn't wait. She's not going to wait 2 months or 3 months when she can go work at Target or she can go work at fast food. We've already began meetings with the ESS supervisors to see how can we streamline this process more. Looking at our exam timelines, looking at our exam requirements, what is required for the position versus what we're putting our applicants through, how long that's taking. Also our response time when people are applying. If we're waiting a month to get back to them, it's too long. We can't do that, and we do believe we're losing applicants because of that. So that's why one of our goals is to really be more efficient. The ESS staff is very excited about that, as you could imagine. These are hard to fill positions, and we need to act quickly. And parents too, yeah. And hopefully the applicants, because I believe they want to work in our schools, but their window is going to be short, and we need to get them in quickly. So that is one of the focus areas of right now, that and instructional assistance, really trying to speed up those processes as much as we can.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing those improvements. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you brought it up, so I'd love to thank you for working with Mr. Mizell on getting those continuing job fairs for our special education IA positions that are continually open in our district, and getting those hired as quickly as possible and adding more job fairs in when there are more applicants. I really appreciate your flexibility and your speed in working with
Thank you. Well, Mr. Mizell, I think it was my first or second week here. He's like, let's do a job fair next Friday.
Great. Trial
Okay,
by
let's
fire.
do it.
Go.
And let's go for it. Okay. It's hard to say no to him, right? He's so enthusiastic and excited. And our staff pulled it together, even with some new members on our team. So thank you for honoring that. I really want to
I very much
highlight the
appreciate
team,
that,
so.
and I know how important that was for our district and many of our sites and our students. So that was great. Thank you for your efforts there. I actually have quite a few little nitty-gritty things like Dr. Patel that I'm going to look forward to scheduling a meeting with you. So
That would be
thank you so
wonderful.
much
Please
for
do.
your presentation and your time here. Any other questions? Oh, yes.
As an ESS high school aide myself, I want to thank you for that, because working within our district, it's safe, it's a great environment to work with, it's a family. So for all the future applicants, we greatly appreciate your hard work. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. My daughter went through ESS, so thank you. You guys are awesome.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, this takes us to 6.5, initial proposal from the Board of Education to Poway Federation of Teachers 2019-2020, first reading. Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you, Madam President. This evening, we present to you our district's initial proposal to open negotiations with the Poway Federation of Teachers. This is a two-step process. This evening is just for an informational item to present to our Board of Trustees and the public. It'll be brought back to our following board meeting in January for public comment and the opportunity to approve before we begin negotiations with Poway Federation of Teachers for a new successor agreement that will begin July 1, 2020. Our negotiations are anticipated to begin using the IBPS model at end of January and early February.
That's good to hear. Any questions for Mr. Jimenez? All right, this is a first reading, so there's no vote. Ready to move on? Okay, here we go. Item 6.6 is proposed 2020-21 year-round student attendance calendar for Valley Elementary School, first reading. Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you. Earlier in December of 2018, the Board of Education approved the attendance calendar for students for the 2020-2021 school year for most of our schools, which follow, as you know, a traditional calendar. Valley Elementary is on a year-round calendar. This is the calendar that would begin in 2020-21. It's been aligned with certain key dates on our student calendar for the traditional calendar, but also has been vetted by the principal and the staff at Valley Elementary as well, and is presented to you as a first reading and will be brought back in the January meeting for final approval.
Thank you. Any questions on this calendar? No? All right, we can't wait for January. Item 7.1, approval and certification of first interim financial report and approval of resolution number 2028-2020 entitled Authorization to Revise the 2019-2020 Budget as reflected in the first interim financial report. Dr. Phelps.
Thank you. Thank you, President O'Connor Radcliffe. As you know, the district is statutorily required to provide 2 interim financial reports to the San Diego County of Education each fiscal year. These reports reflect the current actual expenditures through the reporting period and projected year-end budgets. They also include budget projections for 3 years. Action is required by the board after receiving the information to certify the financial report. Presenting the first interim financial report this evening will be Finance Director Joy Romero.
Good evening. Thank you, Superintendent Dr. Kim Phelps. Good evening, Board President O'Connor Radcliffe, members of the board and cabinet. This evening, we are presenting the board for board consideration and approval the first interim report of the district's annual budget for 2019-2020 and the district's projected budget for the next 2 fiscal years. Before I start the presentation, if you may, I just want to thank and recognize my finance team for all their work completing the first interim report, most especially our Assistant Director of Finance, who's here tonight, Mr. Joe Tarantino. Thank you, Mr. Tarantino. As mentioned by Superintendent Dr. Kim Phelps, we are required to prepare and submit the interim reports to San Diego County Office of Ed, and included in the requirement is to submit the first interim report in the Standardized Account Code Structure, or SACS format, which was provided to the board and will be posted on the district's website. We also included in the board packet 10 pages of budget report with more detailed descriptions of the budget revisions. So let's begin by looking at the district's overall general fund combined net activity. Our total projected revenues in first interim is $604,671 lower than the board-approved budget presented on October 10th board meeting. As far as expenditures, we increased the budget by $584,580. Between revenues and expenditures, it is an additional increase of almost $1.2 million, or $1,189,251 increase to the district's deficit spending. Our projected net activity without the carryover that we added this year is going to be $7.5 million from $6.3 million in the board-approved budget. So here's the breakdown of the changes in the district's revenues. Again, a total reduction of $604,671, the far right corner cell, you will see there. In LCFF, we updated the projected funding using month-to enrollment and maintaining the ADA rate of 96.9%, a reduction of 86 ADA in our LCFF funding. I also want to mention that the net impact to our general fund ending balance is not really $933,301. That's the revenue reduction. But because we also adjusted the budget we built for the additional teacher FTE for the projected increase in enrollment and the funding for the supplemental program, the net impact to the ending fund balance due to the LCFF funding adjustment is around $300,000. The other changes in the revenues under federal, we increased it by $171,047 for the Title IV and the new grant we received for IDA Quality Assurance and Focus Monitoring Grant. There is a small adjustment in state revenue and other local revenue increase of $157,811 for ACES funding. So bottom line, a reduction of $604,671 to the district's total revenues. Turning our attention now to the expenditures, you will see there's a lot of movements in the budget, and this is mainly because of the carryover that we budgeted in line item books and supplies. So if you remember, after we closed the books, we added in our budget the carryover of $13.2 million under books and supplies. As an example here, you will see under capital outlay from $1.3 million. In first interim, we're projecting it will be $4.1 million, a difference of almost 2.8. But we did not really increase our total expenditure budget by 2.8. We're just moving or redirecting the budget to where it will be spent. So this is really the Prop 39 money carryover. As far as the net increase to our expenditure budget, overall it's $584,580. And these are the proposed APSAM salary increase that we added, the budget for the flex time payment for teachers, small additional budget for LSS instructional materials, and the reduction to the supplemental funding and the teacher FTE based on that updated LCFF funding. So all this adjustment will net to $584,580 increase in the district's total expenditures. And again, the detail of these revisions will be in that board packet. So we want to provide here a graphic pie chart of how the district's expenditures in general fund combined is distributed. You will see over 84% is allocated to salaries and benefits, and the remaining 16% to books, instructional materials, supplies, services, and capital outlay. Please note that 84% in salaries and benefits, it's lower than our normal, which is between 85 to 86%, and that's because we included in our total expenditures the 13.2 million carryover. So this slide provides data used in our district's multi-year assumptions. For enrollment, we updated based on the month 2 enrollment report. IT department is finalizing our CalPAD submission. And the good news, our enrollment that we use in the budget is within what we are going to submit to be certified. Actually, it's the total enrollment to be certified is higher, a little higher. So that's good news. For the next 2 years, we adjusted the projected increase downward based on current year increase that we see in our enrollment. We will be working with planning department to refine the enrollment projections as part of our budget development process. For attendance rate, we are using based on what we have in our LCAP goal, 96.9% this year, and starting next year, 97%. The unduplicated pupil percentage, it's flat. We are using the same number of duplicated students, the audited number. And for COLA, it's 3.26% this year. And for out year, we are using SDCOE and SSC's projection. You might have heard about LAO's fiscal outlook for schools relating to statutory COLA. They are estimating 1.79% in 2020-21, which is significantly low than the 3% that we have in our projection. But this is an estimate of LAO and not an official proposal from the governor's office. We won't know for sure what the COLA projection will be for 2020-21 until the governor's proposal is out in mid-January. So the guidance from the San Diego County Office of Ed is to continue using the 3%. Now, if you are curious to know what will happen if it's 1.79%, 1.79% will be a reduction of 3.9 million in our LCFF revenue. And of course, 1.79 COLA will not be enough to maintain the regular district's operation. Per SSC, the cost of maintaining school districts' operation on average will be close to 4% or more actually, and that's what we need here in Poway as well. Now for STIRS and PERS, it's also included on the table, the rates that we are using. I just want to mention that CalPERS issued a revised employer contribution rates. In 2020-21, the new rate is 22.8%, a 0.10% increase, and in 21-22, it's going to be 94.9%, 0.3% higher. So we will be updating the budget in second interim to reflect the new PERS rates. So using the assumptions from the last slide, here's the multi-year net activity looks like for our district. So we included in our 2020-2021 budget an ongoing cabinet-approved budget solutions of $3 million. So with the $3 million budget solutions, our net activity in 2020-21 is projected negative $10.5 million, and the reserve level will drop to 6.9%. In 2021-2022, the deficit spending is projected $7.6 million, and the reserve level will be at 5%. We also included on this slide where the $3 million proposed budget solutions will be coming from. We will revisit the list once we know the governor's proposed budget, and we can finalize the $3 million budget solutions. So this slide shows the impact of the deficit spending to the district's general fund ending balance, and also to our reserve level for the current year and the next 2 years. So we are projecting in the current year our ending balance will be over $39 million, and the reserve level at 9.1%. The ongoing deficit spending will, of course, continue reduce our reserve level. As you can see, with that $3 million cabinet-approved ongoing budget solutions in 2020-2021, it will be at 6.9% and down to 5% in 2021-2022. So here we want to show what do we need to add to our ongoing budget solutions if we want to maintain at least at you know what, let me go back to the previous slide. I also included here as a historical reserve level of the districts, and you will see the lowest is 8%. So with that, the next slide is, of course, quantifying additional budget solutions if we want to be at 8%. So to be at 8%, we need to identify additional $6 million budget solution. Okay, so what's next? So January next month will be the governor's budget proposal for 2020-2021. We will start working with PSS, LSS, everyone in planning and budget development for next year's budget, also refining our enrollment projections. In February, we are doing the budget workshop for the board, and then we will finalize the budget solutions to be included in our second interim budget. So we are required to submit to San Diego County Office of Ed in March of 2020. In May, we will know any revisions to the governor's proposed budget for next school year. Of course, we will update the proposed budget based on this revision. Then early June, the public hearing of the proposed budget with the LCAP. And then June 25th, bring the LCAP back with a proposed budget for the board adoption. So this evening, we are asking the board to authorize the adjustments to the district's budget and approve the first interim financial data that we presented and certify that the district will be able to meet our financial obligations in the current fiscal year and the subsequent 2 fiscal years. Okay, with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Just want to say, Ms. Romero, it's not you that we're groaning at. Any questions for Ms. Romero? Ms. Aiken?
So we can just see a decline in the money that we're gonna get in the next few years, and also with the recession potentially coming the next couple of years, this is not included in the projections. So I was just wondering, with that nearing, do you have any estimate, or because like we're already pulling a lot of money out of special education, like where else would we be pulling money from?
So as I mentioned earlier, we want to wait for next month's governor's budget proposal, and I think that will really help us decide what else we can do as a district to address the deficit spending and to bring our reserve level back to what we really want, which is at 10%.
I just want to know where the good news is in this. Yeah, where is Ron? Ron usually finds $1 million or $2 million lying around.
Yeah, Ron has the good news.
I don't know what else to say. This is dismal.
Well, actually, there is a good news from the latest article that I have read today from SSC, because they see that the revenue is actually going up. So, yeah. So, but cross the finger.
Okay, we're budgeting based on crossed fingers now. So hey.
I have another question. In round numbers, we've discussed before how we allocate approximately $1 million per year toward our deferred maintenance liability for infrastructures throughout the district. Beyond the million in round numbers, I don't know if Chad would know this off the top of his head, what would you guesstimate the district spends annually on its facilities?
Maintenance.
In addition to the $1 million. Right. Thank you.
Any other questions? No? At this point, is there a motion to approve? It's sad, but we're not happy
Don't all
about the
jump at
numbers
once.
to approve.
It
them.
is sad, but I will make the motion to approve because the game must go on.
Second.
That's what it is.
All right, any discussion? I'm sorry, that's a motion by Dr. Patel, second by Mr. Zane. Any discussion? We do have a preferential vote for you on this one, Ms. Akins.
Aye.
Everybody else, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously 4-0. Thank you. Budget workshop's going to be fun. Can't wait. All right, 8.1 is ratification of stipulated agreements for student expulsion. Ms. Osborne.
Thank you, Madam President. Tonight we bring forward 3 stipulated agreements for board approval.
We've had a chance to ask questions about these in closed session. Is there a motion to approve case number 2019-2020.3?
Motion to approve.
Second.
On a motion by Ms. Couvret, second by Dr. Patel. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That's unanimous 4-0. Case number 2019-2020.07.
Motion to approve.
Second.
On a motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. Couvret. All in favor? Aye. That's unanimous 4-0. Case number 2019-2020.09. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
On a motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. Couvret. All in favor? Aye. That passes unanimously 4-0. Thank you. Item 8.2, proposed adoption of new and revised high school courses. First reading. Ms. Osborne.
Thank you. Through the process of aligning instruction and curriculum to next generation science standards for California, we recognize the need to update our course descriptions. We are also expanding course offerings in band, orchestra, Project Lead the Way, cybersecurity, and speech and debate. All revised courses and new course offerings are reviewed by content area teachers across the district, as well as our site administrators to review the impact on student learning pathways.
Are there any questions for Ms. Osborne?
I have a really quick one. The ones that say initiated by a certain school, does that mean they're only currently available at that school going forward, and then perhaps potentially in the future at others?
That is correct. They all start at that school, but then they would be open to the other sites to adopt if they so choose.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say a comment. I'm super excited to see that cybersecurity. That looks really interesting to a lot of our kids.
All right, first reading, so no vote. We look forward to seeing this again. Another first reading, 8.3, proposed adoption of high school science textbooks. First reading, Ms. Osborne.
Thank you. We are pleased to bring forward for a first reading Flexbooks, an open educational resource as the recommended textbook for chemistry, marine science, and geoscience. These materials have been reviewed and curated by the representative teachers and utilize free online resources through the CK12 Foundation. Teachers had the opportunity to review available materials and recommended the CK12 materials for adoption. Students are able to interact with the content utilizing Chromebooks and expand their access to science phenomenon as they learn. Open educational resources allow our teachers the opportunity to integrate updates as needed and have resulted in a substantial cost savings for the district. I want to acknowledge Dave McMartin, our science TOSA, Beth Perisic, Director of Curriculum Instruction, for their leadership in this adoption process. I also want to thank our teachers for their courage and openness to finding new ways of providing student learning through open educational resources.
Are there any questions on this one? Excited to see more of these types of adoptions coming up. Fantastic. You've got all the first readings, Ms. Osborne. 8.4, proposed adoption of middle school supplemental text.
Thank you. Our middle school teachers have requested an additional text be approved as a supplemental reading material that will expand our students' access to complex text. The reading standards for nonfiction text, as well as reading standards for literacy and history, social studies, science, and technical subjects, require students to understand ideas and information from a range of text types. We present this text, A Long Walk to Water, as a first reading as we continue to expand our students' access to complex texts that reflect historical contexts.
Questions on this item?
I'd just like to comment it's an excellent selection, and I'm glad it's being included. Thank you.
Takes us to 8.5. California School Dashboard State Indicator. This is the one I've been waiting for all night. Ms. Osborne.
Thank you. Tonight we are presenting the results of the 2019 California Dashboard Indicators, which include our California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress, or CASP. These indicators and data are part of the metrics we utilize for our LCAP, so we will present our progress on those goals as well. So we're presenting that data now instead of in the June repeat session, right? I would like to thank our data and assessment team and our executive directors, Doug Johnson and Todd Casson, who will be presenting the information tonight. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, all. We're excited to share information on the recently released California School Dashboard. The California Dashboard showcases how well students within a district or school are performing on a variety of indicators, including the Smarter Balance summative assessment scores, graduation rates, suspension rates, chronic absenteeism, and college and career readiness. In our district, the California Dashboard is one tool that we use to chart our path for ascertaining improved student outcomes. As the slide depicts, dashboard data is used as well as additional local data as a vehicle for our district to review its progress, articulate plans to address areas of identified need, and communicate the plan to our educational stakeholders. This evening, we will present the dashboard data within the context of our district's 2019 LCAP goals. Under LCAP goal number 1, the metrics that align to this goal in terms of the California Dashboard are the academic indicators in both English language arts and mathematics. Additionally, this goal is also aligned to the percent of students who are considered prepared to engage in post-secondary work or to participate in a career. Our LCAP metrics for English language arts was to maintain our overall district performance at level 5 blue. This was accomplished with an increase of 6.2 points as compared to 2018. Overall, 76% of our students in grades 3 to 8 and 11 performed at the standard achievement levels in the English Language Arts Smarter Balance Assessment. This represents an increase of 1.55% or 240 more students performing in the proficient bands. Significant growth was noted in our Hispanic, Pacific Islander, and socioeconomically disadvantaged student groups. We were very pleased to see that all of our students' groups maintained or improved their performance level as compared to 2018. Our LCAP metrics for mathematics was to maintain our overall district performance at level 5 blue. This was accomplished with an increase of 8.7 points as compared to 2018. Overall, 70% of our students in grades 3 to 8 and 11 performed at the standard achievement levels in the mathematics section of the Smarter Balance Assessment. This represents an increase of 2.71% or 437 more students performing in the proficient bands. Significant growth was noted in our African American, Filipino, Hispanic, Pacific Islander, and socioeconomically disadvantaged student groups. Again, we were pleased to note that all of our student groups maintain or improve their performance level as compared to 2018, except for our homeless students who declined by 1 performance level.
As we transition to the college and career indicator, our LCAP goal was to increase the percentage of students meeting the criteria to be determined college ready by 2%. Unfortunately, we did not meet this goal, as 3.3% fewer graduates in the class of 2019 met the criteria to be deemed college ready. Based upon this drop, our performance level color decreased by 2 levels, going from a level 5 blue to a level 3 yellow. In reviewing our data, this drop was consistent throughout our district, as nearly all of our student groups either maintained or declined in their performance level, with the exception of our Asian and Filipino student groups. We included this slide so the board could see how a 3% drop in our college and career indicator would result in a move to a yellow performance level. In the 2018 dashboard, Poway Unified earned a college and career indicator showing that just over 71% of our students met the qualification to be considered prepared or college ready. That would have put us in the blue performance band. By dropping 3%, we would have moved into the green performance level, but subsequently we also dropped under the 70% very high barrier, moving us into the yellow high performance level. Under LCAP Goal 2, the metric that aligned to this goal in terms of the California dashboard are the academic engagement indicators of our 4-year cohort graduation rate and our English learner performance on the English Language Proficiency Assessments for California, the LPAC. Our LCAP metrics for our graduation rate was to increase by 0.01% each year the number of 12th grade students who graduate as determined via a 4-year cohort group. Our overall district performance is at level 4, green. This represents a decline from the previous year of 0.9%. It also resulted in a performance rate decline from the level 5 blue in 2018 to level 4 green in 2019. In this indicator, there are mixed results in terms of student performance. Significant improvement was noted in our African American student group, in which their performance indicator moved up 2 levels from level 2 orange to level 4 green.
60.7% of our district's English learner students are making progress toward English language proficiency. Because the state has transitioned to a new assessment, the English Learner Proficiency Assessment for California, LPAC, a performance level is not reported this year. There has not been 2 years of data in which a comparison can be made. Under LCAP Goal 3, the metrics that align to this goal in terms of the California dashboard is a conditions and climate indicator, which is our district's suspension rate. Our LCAP metrics for our suspension rate was to increase or equal a 0.6% reduction in suspensions. This was accomplished with a decrease of 0.2% as compared to 2018. Our district performance places in level green, which is an improvement of 1 level from 2018. All of our student groups either maintained or increased their performance level. Our African American student group saw an increase of 2 levels from level 2 orange to level 4 green. There was also a 1 level performance level increase in our students with disabilities and Pacific Islander groups, with a 3 level increase noted in our foster youth student group.
Under LCAP Goal 4, the metric that aligned to this goal in terms of California dashboard is the Academic Engagement Indicator, which is our district's chronic absenteeism rate. The indicator reports the number of students who are absent for 10% or more during the school year. Our LCAP metrics for our chronic absenteeism indicator was to decrease the number of students who were absent for more than 10% of the school year by 0.5%. This goal was not accomplished, whereas we saw a decrease of 0.1%. This placed our district at the level 3 yellow performance level, which was an improvement from the previous year, where our performance level was 2 orange. In reviewing our data, performance level increases were noted in the Asian, Filipino, white, English learner, and our foster youth student groups.
The information gathered from the California dashboard serves as metrics to inform and improve our practices. Certainly, this information denotes areas for which improvements are needed in order to meet the needs of our individual students and specific student groups. As a district, we continue to refine and align our curricular, instructional, and assessment practices in our ongoing efforts to support all students. In addition, PUSD will be focusing efforts to improve our chronic absenteeism rates and increasing the number of students deemed to be prepared for college and career. Thank you. Any questions, comments?
All right, questions? I'll go first then. Okay. How do you measure students who fall into more than one category? Homeless students, for instance, could also fall into a student with disabilities. They could also be one of the racial subgroups. Where do you measure them? Do you measure them in multiple categories?
Multiple categories, absolutely, and all of the above. Wherever they fall, then they're put in that particular student group.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
from the state. I mean, again, this is a state perspective.
Yes,
not,
I'm saying
not Poway
you.
Unified,
I mean
not me
the state,
or Todd.
Right.
Right.
Thank you.
So, these are like the state's terms, like the homeless and socioeconomically disadvantaged. Like, what's the difference? Because are they connected? Because obviously we see the same kind of grouping with the racial subgroups, and we need to figure out a way to remedy that in some kind of way.
Yeah, well, again, a child can be a foster and socioeconomically disadvantaged. They can be EL. They could be in multiple categories, and they're still counted. But the whole perspective on this is for us as educators to have our eyes on particular students and analyze their particular experience. And that's really, really, really important, because back in the older days, when I was a younger educator, we didn't do a lot of that. We didn't really divide. We would look at holistically, as we can see from Poway Unified. We are at the very top of the state. We're blue in both academic areas, have been. But is every student group, every individual making progress and being and where we want them to be? No. And that puts the efforts into our work collectively to look at where students are and to plan and strategize therein.
And it aligns with what you would have read in the last few months in our SPSAs, that our schools put forward. They're putting the school is putting a plan together to address the data that you see right here.
So just as a reminder, this is last year's data, right?
Yeah, this is
so
last year's.
Might be seeing progress.
Yeah, so when you look at the college and career indicator, though, where we dropped to, that SBAC data is from 2 years ago.
Do you also explain what goes into that indicator? What are they measuring?
Yeah. So you're really measuring, there's multiple ways to meet it. You can get a 3 or meet standards or above standards in your SBAC in both English language and math. That's one way to do it. So when that class that 2 years ago when they took and we had our lower SBAC scores, that's a hit that you now see in the college and career indicator. So
that's the only thing that goes into that indicator?
No, that's one.
Okay.
That's one. An AP exam, passing an AP class and an AP exam 2 with the scores of 3 or better, that's another way. Dual enrollment within multiple courses, there's another way. Completing a CTE pathway, along with now getting a 2 or a 3 in regards to your SBAC scores. Meeting your A through Gs and completing a CTE pathway. There's really, when you look at the combinations, about 10 different ways that you can meet this. The biggest ones, meeting your A through Gs and getting at proficient or above, though, on your SBAC.
So we are making a lot of progress in some of those other ways to get to this.
Yeah.
A little slower progress in the main areas that you just outlined.
I think right off the bat, you're going to see an increase next year. Our SBAC scores at the high school level for the 11th grade year in math went up 11 percentage points alone. So you're going to see that, and also I believe it was a 5% in English. So that'll be a jump right there that I would say put us back in the very high performance band.
I have one question. I know all of this data you guys disaggregate quite efficiently. I'm looking at chronic absenteeism since that connects directly to the dollars we get. Do we see differences in reasons for chronic absenteeism within the different groups that are having them? Or are we seeing just what are the reasons? Is it transportation? Is it trying to figure out what solution space are we in for these various groups? And what have we been doing over the last year to help with that?
Well, the key to that, again, is we haven't really looked at this that closely until the dashboard has put this into our mindset. So now at the site levels, we are absolutely having our list of kids that are chronically absent. And we have before, but a greater effort into this work and then figuring out what is the problems in terms of that and having outreach in our attendance and discipline department and all our counselors. Adding more counselors has been huge because that is where we need to have that support with getting kids to school and figuring out why they're not at school and then putting plans into play. Yeah. And in our student report center, where we collect our own district data that aligns with this, that we also have it all disaggregated as well. So we are keeping track of that as we go through the year.
And this is all grade levels?
All grade levels. Mm-hmm.
So I know these indicators.
Only 10% is going to get you into the chronic absenteeism.
Yeah.
10% of the year that you're absent.
So these indicators are going to eventually be leading us to programs and practices that are going to improve our performance in these areas. Can't wait to hear what those are, by the way. When you come up with it, let us know. I can't help but notice, though, when we're looking, scoring in that orange over and over again for English scores, for math scores, suspension rates, graduation rates, and chronic absenteeism, homeless students, and students with disabilities. In all of those categories. Those were the two categories that I noticed every single time. I hope that we can really give some, and by we I mean you, can really give some thought
But we are thrilled that as we look, this is a chart, and you can't see it really, but you look at students with disabilities as we're tracking this. We've had 2 years of orange, and in 2019, yellow in both academic areas, which is showing the work of the team. I mean, little by little, but we are moving into a place. And as you know, when you look into an SII classroom and you see the integration of students being in the standards-based classroom grade, it's incredible. That's the work. And I think that we're on our way in terms of that. But we're really thrilled with our student groups and how they have maintained and moved forward through these years, and we hope to continue with our strategies and practices therein.
Thank you. Ms. Akins.
One more comment. I just want to bring attention to, again, obviously we see the homeless and socioeconomically disadvantaged people as oranges and yellows, but the correlation with African Americans, Hispanics also being those struggling groups, and what we're doing for those groups as well, because we have College Bound, we have these organizations, but I mean, our students are struggling to just keep their unions up. Black Student Union's struggling, and other unions are also struggling to just stay afloat on campuses. So just specifically for the racially groups, because there's not that many of us, and I feel like we need to bring attention to that as well.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
You too.
.1. These are our board member reports. Let's start down at the end with Ms. Akins. What's going on?
Thank you. Let's lighten the mood up a little bit. Good evening, fellow board members and people remaining in our audience. It's incredible how time flies. It feels like I was sitting here at the dais just last week. Nevertheless, since the last time we sat here together, I have been traveling and connecting with new people that are eager to help our district reach its full potential. On November 19th, I was honored to be a part of our district's second annual State of the District event, in which I was able to connect our district's vision and mission statements to my 12-year experience being a student in the Poway Unified School District. I would like to exude my sincere gratitude and thanks to Dr. Phelps, Ms. Peck, the Superintendent's Student Advisory Council, Studio 701, and all the other individuals who are responsible for making the State of the District event as amazing as it was. I look forward to seeing the event's growth in years to come. During the week of November 25th through 29th, students and staff were able to have a pleasant Thanksgiving break with their friends and family to appreciate all the things they may have taken for granted. Prior to the week-long break, the high school ASBs were kept busy putting together fun activities in order to allow students to value the things and people they hold dear. At the elementary schools, I know parents and teachers were also busy with conferences in which parents and teachers were able to assess their students' growth, strengths, and areas of improvement as we move on into the new year. I'm sure the little ones enjoyed their minimum day schedule, because I know some of the high school kids were particularly jealous about that. The following week, on December 5th and 6th, I had the pleasure of attending the California School Board Association Conference in downtown at the San Diego Convention Center. The first day of the conference, student board members from across the state were able to communicate about issues their districts struggle with over delicious ice cream and cookies. It was fascinating to hear that other districts further south, and even near the Sacramento and San Francisco areas, deal with some of the same issues our district face as well. Drugs, student involvement, mental health awareness, and damaged school infrastructure seems to be a California trend. The second day of the conference, however, we learned ways to remedy our district's difficulties and even heard from a panel of students, admin, and board members from across California, including our very own assistant principal at Del Norte High School, Mr. Stephen Mills. That day, we also heard from keynote speaker Ron Suskind, who is an acclaimed journalist and author who played a key role in the Academy Award-nominated film Life Animated that depicted the story of his own family and how Disney animated films helped his autistic son develop reading, writing, and communication skills. He gave an incredibly touching speech that is one I will truly never forget. The CSBA conference was an incredible opportunity for me to network and gain new ideas from other students who are in the same role as I am. Last week, from December 9th to the 14th, I was traveling once again for soccer. This time, my sport was able to take me all the way to Tampa, Florida. I had to squeeze time in my busy schedule there to write up all the ideas I gained from the California School Board Association conference, and I look forward to seeing where those ideas go to help our district thrive. Thank you and happy holidays.
Good evening, everyone. Well, what can I say? It's been a year of growth and progress for me as a board member and for the whole district. I am thankful for the opportunity to have served the district as the board president over the past year, and I'm looking forward to the shifting of responsibilities as we head into a very busy 2020. Rest assured, my commitment to the district and specifically the students is no less now that I'm sitting on this end of the dais. I know my board colleagues will touch on most of these events over the past month, so I'll try to keep my comments brief as a gift of time for this holiday season. So briefly, I was honored to introduce the board and our board goals at the second annual State of the District event. Despite the downpour, we had a pretty good turnout, and it is available online for those who missed it. The following week was full of short days for my elementary school daughters, so I wasn't able to go visit any school sites. But it was also a short day for many parents across the district due to parent-teacher conferences. My hope is that everyone was able to have productive meetings with their teachers, as productive as mine was anyway, and that you're able to build positive working relationships with your teachers throughout the district. It seems like a month ago, but our CSBA annual education conference was just a couple weeks ago. I attended the delegate assembly meeting before the regular conference, where we discussed updated legislative advocacy platform, as well as electing our CSBA state leaders. The following 3 days of conferences included sessions on bonds, education funding, and also I was able to be a panelist for a session on board governance to other new board members. I was able to attend a Del Norte administrative walkthrough thanks to an invitation by the principal, Mr. Brian Schultz. We were able to observe instruction of other teachers along with other teachers who were on their planning periods, and this provides these teachers an opportunity to observe their colleagues in action and maybe learn or get skills. I also joined board member O'Connor Ratcliffe on a tour of Blue Apple Ranch, which is a part of the Toby Wells Foundation, and this ranch is offering internship programs for 20 students between Abraxas and the Poway BASES program. We're very excited to see how this program goes for our students. I'll let Ms. O'Connor Ratcliffe touch on the details there. I also enjoyed many band concerts, 3 of them all at Mesa Verde Middle School because my kid plays a couple instruments there. And I was also able to attend 2 graduation ceremonies today. These were some of the most touching ceremonies you could ever possibly attend. I think for most of our students in the district, or many of them I should say, graduation isn't expected. It's going to happen. Most of our kids are going to make it. These kids at Abraxas, some of them, this is a life-changing opportunity for them. Many of them thought they weren't going to make it. And it's always very touching and special to attend these ceremonies. And I felt honored and privileged to be in the presence of these amazing rising stars. And I will close my board report with that. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. She's got the gift of time. I'm going to be the Grinch and steal some back that I've been saving up for the past few months. I'm not going to recount all of the events that I've been to throughout the year. I took a look at least the past 6 months. So it'll only be 20 minutes worth of your time now instead of a half an hour. Apart from a number of the events that I attended with fellow board members, what I found interesting and I felt appropriate was the fact that roughly a dozen events or things that I did the past 6 months dealt with school and student or campus safety. Starting back in June with the Campus Safety Conference in Las Vegas that I attended with Ms. Hicks and Mr. Casson, all the way through this September-October period where I attended the International School Safety Institute Conference here in San Diego with Ms. Hicks. In between, there was a series of community facility committee meetings, the district security or safety committee meetings, as well as a number of phone calls and in-person meetings with constituents who had questions about how the district is addressing student safety concerns. And I thought this evening, because I've been promising it, I'd give just a little recap on some of the sessions from at least the last safety conference that I attended in October, the International School Safety Institute here in San Diego. As I said, I attended with Ms. Cindy Hicks, the district's prevention specialist. where we attended various sessions or workshops. Among them, and you can pick and choose, I chose to take a track this time around focused on climate and culture, where the first sessions addressed collaboration between education and community partners in law enforcement, emergency services, and mental health regarding effective measures for achieving a safe school culture and climate. And during this time, there were presented several different topics that addressed today's recommended best practices in school safety. We also attended an active assailant tabletop exercise. They covered what to do during the time frame from the inception of an incident until emergency responders arrive, what to do when they get there, and what to do after they are gone. I've said it before, and it's worth repeating here. School staff and law enforcement personnel who are at ground zero when an incident of violence occurs are considered immediate responders. This session was geared toward what they can do to maximize school safety if a violent incident occurs, since they are already there when immediate action is necessary. It began with a discussion of the different responses related to lockdown, locked out, and alternative methods that might be needed in the worst-case scenario of an active assailant attack at a school. We also attended an interesting session regarding helping adults understand teen culture. This was very helpful for my own life. We discussed the digital and drug trends of youth today while establishing social emotional learning framework and establishing how establishing a social emotional learning framework will help children succeed the most, and covered the tools, resources, and best practices that bring adults up to speed on the latest tendencies with teens around digital platforms, apps, social media, gaming, device use, vaping, and THC prevalence. There was also a coverage of topics on the areas of child exploitation, personal safety and fraud, and school shootings. I also, like many personnel throughout the district, attended a Stop the Bleed training. As I just mentioned, school staff are our immediate responders. They're on the scene when bad things happen. They work in a time frame we call the manic minutes. This is the time frame they will be alone with the victim of a traumatic injury while waiting for paramedics to arrive. The actions taken during these manic minutes will directly impact the time frames needed by the paramedics and doctors to keep victims alive. Stop the Bleed training and equipping schools with tourniquets and wound packing material and training staff in their use will save lives if bad things happen at a school. And I'm happy to say that, and I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but the high schools have them. How many per school? 5 per high school, 3 per middle school, and 1 per elementary school in the district. So I'm happy to see that that has been rolled out throughout the district as one of the many things we're doing to address student and campus safety in Poway Unified. Lastly, there were 2 other sessions I found very interesting. One entitled Current Drug Trends Affecting Our Youth, presented by John Callery, Assistant Special Agent in charge of the DEA. And he wrote in his summary for this that there's 1 degree of separation between each of us knowing someone who is addicted to drugs or alcohol. This is especially true in today's opioid crisis. Much of this activity starts with school-age children, and high school-age teens are considered a high-risk age group for drug and alcohol use and abuse. This is where our education efforts must focus to address the problem. In order to educate our students on this problem, we must first understand it, how we got to this stage with the opioid crisis, how drugs like heroin and fentanyl are affecting our youth and our society in general, trafficking methods, and how drugs are actually coming into our country, and what drugs we're seeing used or abused with teens were all topics discussed in this session, including, not surprisingly, for those of us who have been attending a number of these sessions by now, the prevalence in middle school students for drug use and a number of social and emotional welfare issues in middle schools as compared to high schools. It's very problematic. Lastly, there was a presentation by an officer from the Newtown, Connecticut Police Department on fortifying adolescence, countering the blast culture of middle school and high school. The presenter talked through some realities of youth culture and ways to think beyond the physical security of schools to promote a better social emotional environment. He walked through the BLAST acronym: bored, lonely, angry, scared, tired, and talked about the ways to teach in a trauma-informed classroom. Our students know more than ever before about what's going on in safety throughout the country. So I think the overarching focus from my standpoint in attending all these meetings is really looking at the links between achievement, safety, and climate. And I'm proud to say that the district is doing an excellent job in all these areas. And my observation is that we need to continue to do more as much as we can to give our children, our students, better coping skills. And however that manifests itself through curriculum, through programs, the ability to deal with conflict resolution, emotional intelligence and awareness, and stress management, acute versus chronic stress. We see our students encountering more stress than ever before. So in closing, probably one of my longer board reports, I actually want to apologize to my son Gus. I missed his orchestra concert tonight at Mount Carmel. But on a happier note, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a Happy New Year.
It's kind of an emotional roller coaster meeting between the budget low and then the safety. And so I'm going to bring a little lighter side to this because first off, I want to commend the staff for a fantastic state of the district, even though the weather didn't cooperate, but their excellent handling. Sorry, I want to go back a little bit. And I also wanted to commend you guys for the excellent handling of the Poway water crisis, because you guys were pretty awesome responding, so we didn't miss any school on that one. I do need to mention, because the Chaparral Thanksgiving Project has been my baby for 11 years, I want to share that we collected over 35 baskets of food and $2,000 for FFCC to give to POSD families in need. And I hope everyone is taking advantage of the incredible talents of our students enjoying the various concerts and performances this time of year. This meeting marks the end of my first year, and I'll still use the new kid excuse as long as I possibly can. I want to thank everyone for their patience with my impatience. I've learned so much this year, and I'm excited to be part of a team that is making so many positive improvements. I'm a huge fan of New Year's resolutions, which means I first have to reflect on the past year, and you'll be lucky enough to hear my New Year's resolutions at the next meeting. So people have always asked me, mostly out of my concern, how am I liking it? And I always lead in that the dais is all new, and we all work positively together to make improvements so that the POSD students get the best education possible. What's truly wonderful is respect that the trustees have for one another, and how even though we're interested in every aspect of the district, we all have our own areas of expertise, such as TJ with safety, Michelle with special needs, Darsh with emotional and mental health, and myself with CTE in high schools. When I ran, I had a couple of lists. One was for the short-term fixes, and the second was for long-term fixes. And I've learned that sometimes what you think is a quick fix is not, and vice versa. But I want to highlight 4 areas that I'm so happy to see great improvement over the year, because I had talked about these during the election. First is the automating of many of our district systems. We're about to roll out an online position control system, which will allow us real-time assessment of staffing. It sure beats calling every principal to find out how many aides they have. With this system, vacation and time cards will be fully automated. Before, vacation was so cumbersome that the district found itself with an over $7 million liability. Through hard work, this has been decreased in half. Our finance department also has identified a CFD bond that we were able to refinance, saving taxpayers over $2 million over the length of the bond. We have moved to online registration. So as someone who has volunteered at registration for many years and filled out many forms, welcome to the 21st century. We now have controls on our technology inventory so we can streamline purchases and repairs, saving foundations and district money. And finally, we actually have a help desk where our community can reach out for tech help, thus improving our customer service, efficiency, and quality. Because of these and other procedures, our credit rating has greatly improved, and we're improving the perception of our community as being helpful and responsible. Second, the safety and facility assessments were extremely thorough and allowed us to now make a strategic plan. With our consultants and input from our community leaders, students, and staff, we see a picture of where we are and where we need to go. Third, a new mission and vision statement to better define who we are and what our goals are for the students at POSD. One way you can see this is evidenced in the introduction of the SAI model for our special ed students and the improvement that Mr. Mazzell is making in that department. Another is our focus on the CTE department, and our students excel both academically and be prepared for the workforce. Fourth is the big win of the $25,000 grant for the Braxis shower and laundry facility, tacking on to our homeless kids that we need to really address. Because how can a child learn when they're dirty and not accepted by their peers? So TJ and I first learned about this at a meeting And we didn't realize that Abraxas has a majority of our homeless kids, and they didn't have these facilities. Through a team effort with Poway Councilman Frank, Poway Mayor Voss, Supervisor Gaspar, Mr. Little and his team, we were awarded a grant for $25,000 and will be construction next year on this facility. So there's still a long list, but as I attend trainings and conferences, I learned that PO is doing a lot right. It's earned its reputation as the best district in the county. However, we're working hard to be the best in the state and give our students the best possible education. So see you next year.
Thank you. I was going to talk about the state of the district as well, but we've all covered it. The only thing I would note is I love this. Let's bring in a lot more students next time. Love it. We had great performances from Poway High's Drumline and Adobe Bluffs Elementary's Mandarin Club, and they were wonderful. Oh yes, Westview ROTC. It was Poway's. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yes, wonderful. Let's do a lot more, though. I want singing and dancing and some instruments, more than drums. The drums were great. They really rolled us in there, though. That was fabulous. So that was great. It was great to show off a little everything that we're working on, what we've done, and where we're going. And yeah, I look forward to a lot more of those. Second one ever. Good job. Do it some more. Yes. I was at Adobe Bluffs to see the Westview ambassadors come down there and teach the kids about one of those pillars of character, kindness, teaching all the kids the K-I-N-D, Aztecs are kind to me. It was really great, really so much fun. Adobe Bluffs also, our Mandarin immersion school, celebrates birthdays every month by singing happy birthday in English and then in Mandarin. So I love going there for all of that, and I still only really can say ni hao and shay shay, but I love it. CSBA, that was a big deal, hanging out with my fellow board members here. Ms. Couvret at the experienced board member part. No matter what, you're not new if you go to the experienced board member symposium. But that was fun, talking about ethics, religious neutrality, Brown Act, public records requests. It was the nitty-gritty. You got to get this stuff right. But it was a full 4 days down at the convention center here downtown in San Diego, learning and training with board members all across the state. And that was really exciting. You get to talk to people who represent districts that are very, very different than ours, and some that are really closely aligned with our unduplicated pupil counts and size. So it's really interesting. Probably not shocking anyone. My three favorite sessions were all about special education. I learned so much and was so pleased to see CSBA being responsive to board member feedback from last year when they had 0 sessions on special education. And I want to thank Mr. Mizell for graciously giving me the time to meet with him and share what I learned and ask a lot of questions about where PUSD fits into the picture that they painted about state-level special education and where we're going. New measures of how our students are doing that are rolling out much more slowly than the state would like, and that makes it triple, quadruple more slowly than I would like. But it's good to know it's coming. They keep giving timelines that keep getting pushed back, but it's exciting stuff. I was able to get to several shows put on by our students. Mesa Verde Middle School and Westview High School combined for their choir show, their holiday choir show. So beautiful, wonderful showcase of our students' vocal talents. Got everybody in the festive holiday mood. I don't know if anybody had a hat as cool as Mariana's, but their set was very festive. I only went to 2 of Mesa Verde's band programs because my child only plays 1 instrument. But the band show and the all-girls jazz band that they have for the first time this year was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. I attended the PTA's legislative symposium. It was a great chance down in one of San Diego Unified's facilities to listen to a couple of our California Assembly members talk about their priorities for education and the best way for PTA members to advocate effectively for students and families. And Poway Unified had several attendees there, so I think our PTAs are learning the most they can on how to. We didn't actually have any members who represent Poway Unified of our legislative delegation, but we had members of our PTAs there who were ready to learn and tell me how to go talk to my legislators. So it was a very good symposium. And since I've been tasked now by Dr. Patel with talking a little about the Blue Apple Ranch tour, got to thank Special Education Director Tiffany King. There she is, for inviting us, your work, and making this whole thing happen. But it's a future internship and work experience program for. It'll be for our Poway High School, some of our Poway High School students, and some of Braxis students, as I understand it. But it was really, really inspiring, not just for me, but for our kids, more importantly. When we first got there, they got off the bus, we go into kind of a little classroom space, and the director is rah-rahing about all of the wonderful things they're going to do. I'm getting excited, and the kids all have their heads down. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, doesn't this sound great to them? Nope, not yet. But once we got in our tractor-drawn hay wagon, things started perking up. We stopped to visit the miniature horses, and that was it. The transformation was absolutely immediate. These kids just lit up. They started asking questions. They smiled. They broke out their cameras, taking selfies, taking pictures of each other. I mean, this is the beauty of a program like this. Animals speak to students. There's no pressure. You don't have to say it perfectly. You don't have to behave perfectly. The animals are very forgiving, and the students feel it. Just standing there watching, it was one of these, oh my God, very teary. I'm a very emotional person anyway, but this was really amazing. It's going to be an opportunity. I cannot wait to see where our kids are when we go back in March, correct? Okay, I'm holding you to it, Ms. King. Okay. I can't wait. It was an amazing experience for me, and just watching all of the kids. Once they're a few months in, can't wait to see where they're going. Lastly, I went to one of the Abraxas graduations this morning. I went to the transition graduation. It was a full house, standing room only, for only 3 graduates there. But it was, as always, wonderful, moving stories from their teachers about all of their personalities, how they behave at school. I mean, standing ovations from their fellow students in the room. It was just very moving, talking about their work experience, noting really, and thank you to Elements Cafe right here. They are an employer of many of the students there, either for internships or full-time work for one of the graduates today. Phil's Barbecue was another one that was mentioned over and over again. And just want to thank them for their partnership with our program over at Abraxas Transition. Their future plans look great. They were all smiles. Their families and their fellow students love them, and it was another great moving experience. That one, I did get a little weepy, but it was wonderful. So congratulations to all of them, and can't wait. That's it. Go for it. So sorry.
Thank you, Madam President. We have several recognitions of note to present to the board this evening. Please look at the board packet for the full descriptions. I encourage you to read them. In the interest of time, we will highlight a couple tonight. The wonderful PTA Reflections Art Show hosted by Palomar Council here at the district office last week. There were so many wonderful pieces and videos, and congratulations to to the Award of Excellence winners who will be advancing to the regional level of judging. Also, if you haven't checked out the 2020 niche.com ratings for best public schools in San Diego yet, surprise, surprise, I wanted to share that PUSD's elementary, middle, and high schools all dominated the top 25 lists. On the elementary, I noticed the top 20 of the 25 were all in Poway Unified. At this time, I want to draw your attention to the screen for another Excellence in Education video by our Studio 701 interns. Tonight, we are showing their coverage of our second annual State of the District event that was held on November the 19th.
The beat of the Poway High drumline kicked off the PUSD State of the District with a bang.
Well, this is our second annual State of the District, and this is an opportunity for the district to kind of give their progress report and share all the great things that we're doing in the district.
The event had a celebratory atmosphere despite the heavy rain, with students, staff, parents, community, and business leaders gathered at the Poway Center for Performing Arts.
We have a social responsibility that involves caring deeply about what's going on in the community. The foundation of that is represented by our school systems.
Along with student performances, district leadership shared stories of excellence and innovation within PUSD. Some notable initiatives include foreign language immersion opportunities starting in kindergarten for both Mandarin and Spanish, the district's new mindful moment to help students focus their minds on learning at the start of each day.
Poway Unified says it's helping both special ed and general ed students.
A pilot effort to bring more students in special education into general education classrooms, and training teachers to incorporate more technology and student choice into their classrooms.
It's not just about sitting in desks in a row anymore. It's not about just doing your own work in a silo anymore. It's about working collaboratively with the students around you. And that doesn't just mean flexible furniture. That means changing mindsets.
District work is guided by a new vision statement, creating culture and conditions to empower world-class learners. One of those world-class learners is student board member Mariana Akins from Rancho Bernardo High School, who spoke about the impact PUSD has had on her life.
This district has helped me become a leader on my campus and throughout the district. It's helped me meet new people and not be afraid to be myself, so I feel like in this district I've grown as a person as well as a leader.
As the district looks to the future, a major focus of the presentation was the need for facility improvements in order to ensure PUSD schools can maximize student safety, security, and success.
That's a lot of the work that we did when we went through our master planning work, was being able to identify, hey, what are those needs, and how do we get the schools that were designed and built for a different teaching model to the current standards, right, and where we want to go in our education models. So there's a lot of opportunities, but it definitely is going to take some change.
The district is hoping that Measure P, a $448 million bond measure on the March 2020 ballot, will be passed to allow for needed facilities upgrades, crucial for the success of the future generation of world-class learners. For the Excellence in Education series, I'm Damian Henson, Studio 701.
Yay! So the feedback from our community, media, education, and business partners were overwhelmingly positive. They were so impressed with what Team PUSD has accomplished in this past year with our new vision and mission, as well as our goals of the future. Thank you to all that attended despite the pouring rain. For those of you who are unable to attend, the entire presentation as well as the videos and publication are on our website. Many thanks to the generosity of this district, as families and employees have been participating in the Adopt a Family program, as well as the annual giving campaigns to support our school sites and district foundations. I've also seen several instances where our own staff and students have initiated toiletry drives for our homeless and foster youth in the Youth in Transition program, which has served 153 students so far this school year. I'm also delighted to report that the San Diego County Neighborhood Reinvestment Program has approved a grant that Ms. Couvret had talked about to build a laundry and shower facility at Abraxas High School, allowing us to help and address one of our many challenges for our homeless students and supporting their success in school. Earlier this month, a dozen PUSD campuses were under a precautionary boil water advisory for 5 days as part of the City of Poway's water situation. I wanted to express my deep appreciation of staff who helped deliver pallets of water, hand sanitizers, and food to ensure that our students could continue to learn in a safe environment, and for our staff and families who pack their own water and may do despite these inconveniences. So thank you for doing your best to accommodate and adapt to this very unfortunate situation. The board members and I attended this California School Boards Association conference together last week, and it was an excellent time of learning and team building as we continue to learn and grow together to be a highly effective governance team. I look forward to working with all of you as we head into the new year. I wanted to end with a small gift. The Auto Cares Foundation selected Pomerado Elementary School and Westview High School to work with them this year in producing their annual company holiday ornament. Students at Pomerado designed them, then students at Westview High printed them. It was a wonderful and challenging learning experience for our students. Normally, these are only reserved for Auto Care employees, but they wanted to share some with us as a token of their support and appreciation for all of our students' hard work. So they have one for all of Cabinet and all of the board members. See? Very beautiful. So I want to thank the Auto Care Foundation, our students at Pomerado who designed the beautiful ornaments, and our Westview High School students who supported them in printing them. I want to thank all of staff for their hard work this past year. I want to wish all our employees, our families, a wonderful holiday season. I hope that everyone has a well-rested holiday break. And I want to wish you all a Happy New Year, and I look forward to seeing you all in 2020. Thank you.
All right, it is agenda item 14.0, our adjournment. The next regularly scheduled board meeting will be held Thursday, January 16th, 2020, 6 p.m. right here. We're adjourned here. Don't forget, we're going to reconvene closed session upstairs in 5-ish minutes. Thank you. Did I say the time?